this will be a nice tie into what you talked about earlier, because you said, hey, I got some points in terms of regulatory strategy being at the table. And I think the more that you can think in 3D, 4D, understand other business units, how those interact, the more value that you can bring to the business unit. And from a career standpoint, leadership is going to look at, again, regulatory needs to have a seat at the table, but you've got to, in a sense, earn that through the credibility that you bring every time you have those interactions. So, let's certainly speak to that. And what kind of made me think about that was, as we were talking about how these different holidays, you've got to plan out when those submissions from a strategy standpoint and when they're going to hit your P&L and what that process is going to look like. You certainly got to take in those cultural holidays, take those into effect as well. So let's transition to that.
Sure. So I know I've dealt with that most recently with China, and it was a big learning experience for me, because China is very different. And where, for example, for Chinese New Year, where it's a week holiday, but people will take off for an entire month, or even like a month and a half in the testing center as well as in the review center. And the reason they do that is because a lot of people get maybe a week off a year. They're away for their family for maybe 6 months at a time, or they live really far away. So they don't get home that frequently. So when they hit that Chinese New Year, then it's really important for family time for them. So that's planning for those downtimes is really important, and making that visible to the business, respecting not only the China local team and the review schedule from a cultural appreciation point of view, but then bringing that visibility to the business so that they can understand, so that they know for their forecasting to consider that for their planning, for their launch planning on sales and marketing and ops side, that to take that into consideration. And it's going to be their regulatory people that are probably going to be doing that. The salespeople might as well, but they're probably going to do that only from their own perspective of their office, not from the perspective of the regulatory side and the impact to the schedule.